Hey folks, Jarvs here from Happy Volcano, and welcome to the latest Modulus devlog. The updated Modulus demo is officially live, and this one's a biggie. We've packed it with new features, smart system upgrades, visual polish, and a bunch of quality of life tweaks, many of which come directly from your feedback. So, in today's devlog, we're going to walk through what's new in the demo, talk design philosophy with Thomas Preudhomme, share some inspiration with Mick and Antoine, and show off a few amazing community screenshots. But first, we have some exciting news to share. In case you missed it, Modulus was featured in this week's PC Gaming Show, where we revealed our official early access launch date, October 22nd, 2025. A huge thank you to the team at PC Gaming Show for helping us to share this milestone. And if you didn't catch the showcase live, you can watch the full announcement over on their YouTube channel, which will be linked below. We'll be sharing a lot more about what to expect from early access in the coming weeks, but for now, let's jump back into the devlog. Let's start with what's new, because this is by far the biggest update to the demo we've ever made. Nearly every part of the experience has evolved. We've rebuilt the tutorial to be more intuitive and less hand-holdy, focusing on context over click prompts. And we've added a new manual that covers almost every topic in the game, great for both newcomers and deep divers. One of the biggest additions is Creative Mode. This gives you access to all the tools, unlimited resources, and every colour unlocked. You can build whatever you imagine. No production limits, no delivery goals, just pure Voxel creativity. We've already seen players creating abstract sculptures, pixel art, and wild factory experiments. It becomes a whole new way to play. There's also a brand new paint production system in the main game. This includes a dye mixer operator, blue pigment as a building output, and the first working paint recipe, blue pigment and oil equals blue paint. You'll also notice new resource types on the map. Oil has been added, for example, with its own oil rig operator. And we've added more polyrock nodes to improve early game access. And then there are the droids. We've introduced two new buildings, the Droid Core Facility and Droid Assembly, along with 3 new modules for each. Droids are now part of the delivery chain, replacing the old blue cores, and offering a more visual and rewarding output system. From a UI and UX perspective, the update also includes highlighting resource nodes when placing miners, previously known as extractors, a toggle for tilt-shift effects, more responsive hover feedback on operators, and a new efficiency view, which gives a heat map style look at how well each operator is running. We've even added 2 new operators, the counter and the scrapper, along with a refreshed stamper, full operator animations, color agnostic setups, and configuration visuals. You'll also find art upgrades across the board. New VFX, high-res UI icons, subtle textures on buildings, and a brand new narrator portrait. It's a massive step towards what Modulus will become, and it's built with your feedback in mind. And that's just the surface. If you want the full technical breakdown, head to the patch notes linked in the description below, or better yet, fire up the demo and try it all for yourself. With all these systems going in, we wanted to take a step back and ask, how do we actually design systems that are smart? To answer that, I sat down with our technical artist and game designer Thomas Preudhomme to talk about operators, player creativity, and where Modulus is headed next. Here's a few highlights from our chat. So, are there tools or systems coming that deepen what players can build or what they can do? Go mad. What do you want to share about what's coming in the future of Modulus?
Yeah, I think at least for me, the most interesting that will be coming, or one of the aspects is coming, is some kind of logistics, such as the sorter, which is basically an operator that will allow you to sort shapes or sort modules based off what they are. So you could, I don't know, I would merge these two, and then, these two would be on the same line, and then you would have an operator that selectively picks one, and then you can put it somewhere else.
Nice.
And that makes it so that you can basically add some logics to the game, and I think that has a lot of potential of making things like automated and everything, right? And I think that's something that most factory players really like, just automating and finding new ways of doing systems that are just more compact, because you could just merge everything into one line and then sort them back. So yeah, I think that's a feature that I really look forward to seeing what players come up with, basically.
Yeah, that would be really, really cool. And like one of the things we've touched on it, we haven't really talked about a lot, is that there's going to be a tech tree. So do you want to maybe kind of explain a bit about the tech tree and what the idea is?
So there is actually currently, so in the demo, you only have like bots to deliver to the depot, and that's it, right? You just deliver them, nothing happens. You will, in the game, have kind of a separate overarching system where you can transform the cores that you're making into these buildings into data shards. That's going to be a new resource, and those resources will be used into the tech tree. So you will be farming, basically, let's call them points, to use in the like upgrades tech trees.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be like a pretty good incentive to make you want to build more, because you will essentially be building for yourself, like to upgrade. You're gonna look at an upgrade like, oh, now you can use drones that go like between islands, or you can just buy more islands, or you can, upgrade the speed of whatever you want. And there is a bunch of upgrades, also like new operators, new I don't know, like the warehouse or stuff like that just stores items, and you can have a lot of different things that you unlock through that. And so you're gonna look at it and be like, oh, I really want this upgrade, let me just work for it. And then you make the buildings that will create the data shard for you, and then get the upgrade. So I think that's gonna be a pretty big change in how we perceive the game.
Yeah.
Because currently it's just the game telling you, okay, make bots for me, and you're like, sure, but that doesn't give you anything, right?
Yeah.
And so that's gonna be a big change in the design.
I think it also adds to that level of satisfaction as well, right? Because
for sure,
as well as like making the buildings, which is satisfying, you're actually making stuff that benefits you as a player. And I think again that adds an extra step of like, okay, that I'm doing this for myself. This is really rewarding. I can see like progress happening in this tech tree. I'm working towards a specific thing. These are the things I want, and I really like that, because I think again that's one of the feedback we had about the demo is like, why am I doing this? Like, what is the point in making the bots,
exactly,
right? And essentially the demo was here to teach you what the core systems of the game are, like how you play Modulus as a base level, and then moving on from that, you're going to unlock deeper levels, you're going to unlock the tech tree, you're going to unlock, like you said, different operators, and then that's where the narrative comes into play, which will actually start making sense of like why you're doing the things you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's also like a kind of a thing we kind of tell you in the demo, like supplying the colony. We don't tell you what the colony is, but that's kind of a hint toward the narrative side of things. That you will later in the game also deliver bots. We don't explain it in the demo, but we will explain why in the full game. And so I think that's also like you will have both kind of working towards the narrative and also working towards just upgrading yourself.
Your own goals,
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to hear more of that conversation, including details on the upcoming sorter and tech tree and how the narrative goals are evolving, you can find the full interview right now on YouTube and Steam. We've linked both the written version and the video below. Speaking of narrative, let's talk lore. Alongside all these mechanical changes, we've been refining the narrative foundations of the game. In Modulus, you're an AI, built by the colony and deployed to a remote factory complex in the skies high above the world below. Your job? To build bots. Over and over and over and over again. Until something changes. You start receiving a signal from something much bigger. That signal comes from the grand neural network, and it wants more than bots. It wants neural monuments. And maybe, just maybe, it offers a future beyond your original programming. Will you obey your creators? Or evolve? Up next, we sit down with two of the minds shaping the game's design and visual identity. Lead developer Mick Rüdiger and art director Antoine Lendrevie. We asked them about the games that shaped them, what genres they'd love to make, and which mechanics they think deserve a comeback. Here's a sneak peek.
Hello everyone. We'll jump right into the questions. First one for you, Antoine. What games inspire you as a game maker?
As a game maker, I would say that I love world building and atmosphere in general. So I'd say games like Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, Journey, Inside, that those types of games where it's mostly all about the atmosphere. I'd say that Inside is to me one of the best crafted games ever, because to me it's perfect on every aspect of game design. The gameplay could be a little bit better, but it's still pretty good. But the lighting is perfect, the music is perfect, the sound effects, the VFX, the animations. I feel like it's super polished for such a small team at the time. So I really look at it like a great example of what I aspire to make.
Yeah.
What about you? What kind
I
of
mean,
games?
I can't disagree with Inside. Inside is so sick. I remember playing it, being super blown away, and then watching the GDC talks they did on how they did the lighting and all the tech art, and then being like even more of a fan. It was super sick.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's like a lot of the games that I played fall into either like a co-op or competitive edge, and I've only recently started playing games that are like single player experiences, but it's always been, for me at least, like the snappy games. I've never played big RPGs. I've never been really into the story too much for a game. I play those games. I've played so much Minecraft in my life. I played so many fighting games and FPS shooters, just everything where you can smooth around. You're the character, you own the world. I love that so much. I think that's, if I had to name one game, it'd be Minecraft for me. Kind of a day one fan, always have been. But yeah, there's just so many. Can't name them all. Well, then as a follow-up question, what's your favorite game genre?
Well, since the games I just listed, I think it's quite obvious that adventure games are my favorite. I love exploring a new world, something that is not the real world, something that someone creative invented, and just roaming that world and going to the next place, like in Stalker, for example, or more recently, Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
The first 10 hours of Breath of the Wild to me were the best 10 hours of my gamer life, where it was just discovering that world, and you just roam randomly and you see a tower in the far away and you just go there, but in between you'll find 10,000 stuff to explore and you go away from that first objective. So yeah, as a player, I would say adventure games. As a game developer, I would love to work on the RTS. So I don't know why. I think it's also because of the type of art I do. It would be cool to make buildings and vehicles, and I was always a big fan of like Warcraft and Starcraft. Starcraft 2 might be the games I've played the most in my life.
Nice.
In number of hours. And yeah, I feel like it would be really fun to develop a RTS. Unfortunately, they're not super popular, so it's a big risk to make a new one. But yeah, one day I hope I'll make a RTS.
Yeah.
What about you? What game would you like to make?
I mean, as a maker, I would make an RTS with you. We should do
Yeah?
this as a follow-up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have this be someone else's problem if it doesn't sell, and just have us make it.
Yeah.
I think it's just such a good time. I played a lot of Warcraft 3. I love that game so much. That was me in school with my friends. You take it serious. You play it casually. You play there's just a little bit for every occasion. You can somehow be happy in Warcraft 3. I mean, that game is amazing.
Yep.
But I think for genres overall, the most games that I've liked are fighting games. So Street Fighter, I played a shitload of Street Fighter 4 when it came out, and then when it got all these weird updates where it changed a lot over the years, and all the way up to Street Fighter 5, which I didn't like as much, and then I went on to other fighting games. But that has been something that I just always really liked, how it's a limited game and you can express yourself. Like you can tell from, even though you just have a few buttons, you can tell if it's your friend who's playing or some pro player you've seen a million times. I think fighting games have this unique little thing. Everyone sees the same thing as well. There's not two perspectives or anything. I think it's awesome.
The full Get to Know Us episode will be up on our YouTube channel next week, so subscribe, especially if you want to see more of these behind the scenes chats. And if there's a question you'd like to ask in the next Get to Know Us interview, make sure you drop it in the comments below or leave it on Steam or Discord. We'd love to hear your suggestions. let's wrap this up with a look at some of the brilliant stuff you've all been building. Each week, we run a screenshot contest where the winner gets featured in-game for a week, receives a copy of Modulus at launch, and also now gets entered into a draw to win a Mystery Modulus merch bundle. This week, there's no theme, so let your creativity go wild. Just share your most beautiful, clever, or satisfying factory builds. You can enter through our Discord or over on the Steam Community Hub. And in case you need a little inspiration, here are some of the most recent winners. That's it for this devlog. If you haven't checked out the updated demo yet, now's the perfect time to jump in. Whether you're optimizing production lines, experimenting with voxel art in creative mode, or just getting rid of trees, there's something new for everyone. Let us know what you plan to build. We'll be watching the forums, the Discord, and the comments below. Your feedback is genuinely helping to shape the future of Modulus, and we couldn't be more grateful. Thanks for playing, and we'll see you in the next one.